There is one place in your kitchen that can quietly waste electricity every single day, and most people never even look at it. It is not your oven, it is not your microwave, and it is not that phone charger you forgot in the wall. It is hiding under your refrigerator, covered in gray dust, pet hair, crumbs, and years of warm air that your fridge has been fighting against in silence. And here's the strange part. Your refrigerator may not be old, it may not be broken, it may still feel cold inside, but if one part underneath it is clogged, your fridge can start working harder and harder, like a car trying to drive with a blanket over the engine. You will not hear an alarm. You will not get a warning light. You will just see a higher electric bill, food that spoils a little faster, a freezer that grows frost in weird places, and a machine in the corner of your kitchen that never seems to fully rest. And the worst part is, this problem can sit there for years because nobody tells you to check it. When people think about saving electricity at home, they think about smart thermostats, solar panels, new windows, expensive appliances, and those little plugs that show you numbers on a screen. But the real waste often starts much lower, almost on the floor, behind a plastic grill, in a place you probably step past every morning without noticing. That place is the condenser coil, and once you understand what it does, you will never look at your refrigerator the same way again. Your fridge is not actually making cold. That sounds strange, but it is true. A refrigerator does not create cold air the way a heater creates warm air. It removes heat from inside the box and dumps that heat outside the box. That is the whole job. It takes warmth from your milk, your leftovers, your vegetables, your freezer shelves, and it pushes that heat into the air around the refrigerator. That is why the sides or the back of a fridge can feel warm. That warmth is not a mistake. That is the machine doing its job. But here is where things go wrong. For the fridge to dump heat efficiently, air has to move across the coils. Those coils are usually underneath the unit or behind it, depending on the model. They are thin metal tubes, often wrapped with fins, designed to spread heat out into the air. When they are clean, heat leaves easily. When they are covered in dust, heat gets trapped. And when heat gets trapped, the compressor has to run longer. That compressor is the heavy working heart of the refrigerator. It pulls refrigerant through the system, builds pressure, moves heat, and keeps the inside cold. But compressors do not like working non-stop. They are designed to cycle, run for a while, rest for a while, run again, rest again. That rhythm is normal. But when the coils are suffocated, the compressor keeps trying to finish a job that should have been easy. It runs longer, it gets hotter, it uses more electricity, and slowly your refrigerator turns into one of the most expensive machines in your house without you realizing it. This is the part most people miss. A dirty refrigerator coil does not always make your fridge fail immediately. It can still keep food cold enough to fool you. The freezer may still freeze, the light still turns on, the door still seals. Everything looks normal. But the machine is working harder behind the scenes. It is like watching someone carry a backpack full of bricks while pretending everything is fine. And because refrigerators run all day, every day, a small inefficiency does not stay small. A few extra minutes of compressor runtime here, a little extra heat there, one longer cooling cycle after dinner, another longer cycle after someone opens the door 6 times looking for snacks. By the end of the month, the waste adds up, and by the end of the year, you may have paid for a problem. That could have been fixed with a brush in 10 minutes. Now, I know what you may be thinking. You might be thinking, if this mattered that much, someone would have told me. That is exactly the problem. Nobody treats refrigerator maintenance like home maintenance. We clean the stove because we can see the grease. We clean the floor because we can see the dirt. We clean the sink because we can smell it. But the coils? They hide. They collect dust in silence. They do not embarrass you when guests come over. They do not look dirty because you never look at them. And because they are hidden, they become the perfect place for waste to live. Manufacturers mention cleaning coils in manuals, but almost nobody reads the manual after buying a fridge. Delivery teams slide the appliance into place and leave. Energy-saving articles tell you to buy new appliances. Utility companies tell you to adjust the thermostat. But very few people say, pull off the bottom grill, and check the hairy gray blanket wrapped around the part that dumps heat. Because that sounds too simple. And simple things are easy to ignore. But simple does not mean weak. The older way of taking care of appliances was different. People used to treat machines like machines. They listened to them. They cleaned vents, they checked belts, they cleared lint. They knew that any motor, fan, compressor, or coil needed air. Not because they had a smart app, not because they had a sensor, because they understood one basic rule. Heat kills efficiency, and trapped heat kills machines. That rule has not changed. Our homes just got quieter, smoother, and more sealed, so the problems became easier to miss. Modern refrigerators are better than old ones in many ways. They use better insulation, they have better compressors, they control temperature more precisely, but they still need to breathe. And that is the part we forgot. A refrigerator can look sleek from the front and still be choking underneath. So here's how you check it safely. First, look at the bottom front of your fridge. Most refrigerators have a removable toe grill, that long plastic vent near the floor. Some snap off by pulling gently. Some have small tabs. Some may need you to open both doors first. Do not force it. If it does not move, check the edges and feel for clips. The goal is not to break anything. The goal is just to see what is hiding behind it. Once the grill is off, shine a flashlight inside. Do not reach deep into moving parts. Do not stick metal tools into places you cannot see. Just look. If you see a layer of dust sitting on the coils, you have found the problem. If you have pets, you may see more than dust. You may see a thick mat of fur wrapped around the coil area like felt. That is not harmless. That is insulation. And insulation is exactly what you do not want on a heat-dumping surface. The coil is trying to release heat. The dust is helping it hold heat. They are fighting each other, and your electric bill is paying for the fight. Now listen closely, because this is where people make the first mistake. Do not spray water under your refrigerator. Do not pour vinegar under it. Do not use a wet cloth around electrical parts. This is not a sink. This is an appliance with wiring, a fan, and a compressor nearby. You want dry cleaning. Unplug the refrigerator first if you can safely access the plug. If the plug is behind the fridge and pulling the fridge out is difficult, do not yank the appliance across the floor blindly. Some refrigerators are connected to water lines for ice makers. Pulling too hard can damage the line and create a leak. Move slowly. If you are not sure, clean only what you can safely reach from the front and leave the rest alone until you can move it properly. A refrigerator coil brush is useful, but you do not need anything fancy. It is usually a long, thin brush that can reach between tight spaces. A vacuum with a hose attachment helps too. The brush loosens the dust. The vacuum removes it. That combination matters. If you only vacuum the outside, you may leave the deeper dust packed inside. If you only brush, you may push the dust farther back. Work slowly. Brush a little. Vacuum a little. Brush again. Vacuum again. You are not trying to make it look brand new. You are trying to give the coil air again. And when you pull that first clump out, you may understand instantly why your fridge has been working so hard. It is not a little dust. It can look like dryer lint mixed with pet fur and kitchen grease, a gray carpet, a silent blanket, a hidden tax. And if your refrigerator has never been cleaned in 5 or 10 years, the amount could be shocking. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The coils are not the only part that affects energy use. The door gasket can waste just as much attention. That rubber strip around the door is supposed to seal cold air inside. When it is clean, soft, and tight, the fridge can hold temperature. But when it is cracked, sticky, warped, or full of crumbs, warm kitchen air leaks in. And every time warm air leaks in, the fridge has to remove that heat again. That means more compressor time, more moisture, more frost, more work. The old test is simple. Take a piece of paper or a thin bill, close the door on it, then gently pull. If there is resistance, the seal is gripping. If it slides out with almost no resistance, that spot may be leaking. Do the test along the top, sides, and bottom, not just one place. Gaskets can fail in sections. Sometimes the hinge side is fine, but the handle side is weak. Sometimes the bottom is dirty from spills and crumbs. Sometimes the gasket is not broken at all. It is just dirty. A little warm soapy water and a soft cloth can bring back a better seal. Not boiling water, not harsh chemicals, not scraping, just gentle cleaning. Because the goal is not to attack the gasket. The goal is to help it sit flat again. And this is the hidden pattern in almost every appliance. A machine does not have to be broken to waste money. It only has to be slightly blocked, slightly dirty, slightly loose, or slightly neglected. That is why these problems are so hard to notice. They do not announce themselves, they creep. 1 month, the fridge runs a little longer. Next month, the freezer builds a little more frost. Then the compressor sounds louder. Then the kitchen feels warmer near the fridge. Then one day, the appliance fails and everyone says, it was just old. Maybe it was old, or maybe it spent years fighting a problem nobody checked. Now, after cleaning the coils, do not expect magic in 5 minutes. This is not a button you press. This is a load you remove. The fridge needs time to settle into shorter, healthier cycles. Give it a few days. Listen. You may notice the compressor resting more often. You may notice the area around the fridge feels less warm. You may notice the freezer temperature becomes steadier. And if you have access to daily energy usage from your utility account, compare a normal week before and after. Not one day can lie. Weather changes, cooking changes, laundry changes. People come home, people leave lights on, but a week gives you a better picture. If you want to measure more directly, you can use a plug-in energy meter only. If your refrigerator plug is accessible and the meter is rated properly for the appliance. Do not overload cheap gadgets. Do not run extension cords to a fridge. Do not create a hazard just to measure savings. Safety comes first. The best test is the simplest one. Clean the coils, clean the gasket, set the fridge temperature correctly. Then watch the pattern over time. And about temperature, this is another place people lose money. Some refrigerators are set colder than necessary. People turn the dial down because colder feels safer. But colder is not always better. A refrigerator that is too cold can freeze produce, waste energy, and make the compressor work harder. A freezer that is too cold can do the same. The usual safe target is around 37 degrees Fahrenheit for the refrigerator and 0 degrees Fahrenheit for the freezer. But do not trust the dial numbers. Many fridge dials do not show real temperature. They show vague settings like 1 through 7. Use a simple appliance thermometer, put it inside, wait, check it later, adjust slowly, one change at a time. Because if you clean the coils, fix the gasket, and correct the temperature all in the same week, the fridge may suddenly stop fighting 3 different battles at once. And that is when the machine begins to behave differently. Now let's talk about spacing, because this is another hidden issue. Some refrigerators are pushed tight against the wall. Some are boxed into cabinets with almost no airflow. Some have cereal boxes, trays, or random kitchen items stacked on top, blocking ventilation paths. The fridge needs room to release heat. If warm air cannot escape, it collects around the appliance. Then the coils are trying to dump heat into air that is already warm. That is inefficient. It is like trying to cool yourself with a fan inside a closet. The fan is spinning, the air is moving, but the heat has nowhere to go. Check your manual if you have it. Different models need different clearance, but the principle is the same. Air in, heat out. Do not suffocate the machine. And there is one more clue people often ignore. Sound. A refrigerator should run, then rest. It should not sound like it is struggling all day. If the compressor seems to run almost constantly, that does not automatically mean disaster, especially during hot weather or after grocery shopping. But if it never seems to stop, something deserves attention. Dirty coils. Bad airflow. Weak door seal. Wrong temperature setting. Blocked vents inside the fridge. Food packed too tightly. A failing fan. There are many possible causes. But the easiest ones to check are the ones people avoid because they seem too ordinary. And this is why the problem feels almost invisible. We have been trained to look for expensive answers. New appliance. New plan. New subscription. New smart device. New upgrade. But sometimes the first answer is maintenance. Not glamorous. Not viral looking. Not a product with a shiny box. Just maintenance. The kind of boring wisdom that quietly saves money because it stops machines from wasting effort. And once you see it in the refrigerator, you start seeing it everywhere. The dryer vent clogged with lint, forcing clothes to take longer to dry. The HVAC filter packed with dust, making the blower work harder. The bathroom fan covered in fuzz, pulling almost no air. The laptop vent blocked on a blanket, heating up until the fan screams. The ceiling fan blades carrying a layer of dust that makes them wobble. The vacuum filter so clogged that the motor gets hot, but the floor stays dirty. It is the same story again and again. Airflow gets blocked. Heat builds up. The machine works harder. You pay more. Then, eventually, the machine breaks earlier than it should. And people call it bad luck. But sometimes it was not luck. It was dust. Now, before you run to the kitchen and start pulling parts off, remember the safety rule. Only clean what you can access safely. Unplug when possible. Keep water away from electrical components. Do not remove panels that expose wiring unless the manual specifically says they are user serviceable. Do not force the fridge if it is connected to a water line. And if you smell burning plastic, hear buzzing from electrical parts, see sparks, find melted insulation, or feel unusual heat from the outlet, stop and call a qualified technician. Cleaning dust is a homeowner task. Electrical problems are not a guessing game. But for most homes, the simple check is enough to reveal the forgotten problem. Take off the grill, shine a light, look at the coil, look at the dust, and ask yourself one question. How long has my fridge been breathing through that? Because the answer may explain more than you think. It may explain why the side of the fridge feels warmer than it should. It may explain why the compressor runs late at night when the kitchen is quiet. It may explain why the freezer seems fine, but the fridge section struggles after a big grocery trip. It may explain why an appliance that should be efficient is acting tired. And even if your bill does not drop dramatically, you still did something important. You reduced stress on the compressor, you improved airflow, you removed a fire-feeding dust layer from around warm components. You gave the machine a better chance to last. That matters. Because the cheapest appliance repair is the one you never need. This is the part that changes how you think about your home. A house is full of small machines doing invisible work. They heat, cool, pump, spin, filter, compress, vent, charge, drain. Most of the time, they do not need your attention. But when they do, they ask quietly. A longer cycle, a warmer surface, a louder hum, a strange smell, a higher bill, a little frost where there should not be frost, a room that feels damp, a vent that barely pulls air. Those are clues, not emergencies every time, but clues. And the people who save the most money at home are often not the people buying the newest gadgets. They are the people who notice the clues early. They fix the simple thing before it becomes the expensive thing. They clean the part nobody sees. They let machines breathe. So tonight, look under your refrigerator. Not tomorrow, not someday, tonight. Because the dust under there does not care how new your fridge is. It does not care how much you paid for it. It does not care that the front still looks shiny. It only cares that you never checked. And if you find a thick gray layer wrapped around those coils, Do not feel embarrassed. Most people have it. Most people were never taught to look. But now you know. The refrigerator is not just a cold box. It is a heat-moving machine. And when the heat cannot escape, the cost does not disappear. It moves into your bill. Clean the coils. Check the seal. Give it airflow. Set the temperature with a real thermometer. Then watch what changes. Because sometimes the most powerful fix in your home is not hidden inside a new device. It is hidden behind the dust you forgot existed. Do not forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.